If you're the kind of person who loves precious stones, then in today's video, I'm going to give you 7 tips to help you find gemstones in nature, even if you're a complete beginner and know nothing about the subject. So whenever you decide to go looking, whether on a rural property, along a road, in a river, on a farm, or any place with rock formations, if there are gemstones in the area, you'll have a great chance of finding them. Nowadays, many geological studies and advanced mining equipment have been developed and funded by large corporations to carry out large-scale mining operations. This has made mining extremely profitable. But in the past, even without all this technology, many prospectors were able to find high-value gemstones, some of which were worth millions of dollars. So the tips I'm about to share with you are very simple, but incredibly effective. These are the same techniques that prospectors used in the past, and they can help anyone find gemstones in nature without having to invest in expensive equipment or dig through tons of volcanic rock. And to start things off, I want to share a secret with you. Did you know that most regions with gemstone potential have never been explored? That's right. A lot of people would pay good money to know this, because if you learn how to find gemstones in nature and end up discovering a large, untouched deposit of valuable stones near you, it could make you a millionaire. Want an example? The guy on your screen right now is Tony. He was struggling with work-related stress, and his psychiatrist recommended that he find a hobby to help him relax. Tony couldn't play the guitar, was terrible at sports, and felt like he wasn't good at anything, until, by chance, he watched one of our videos and decided to dive into the world of gem hunting. He spent a few days exploring different locations in his region, but had no luck, until he finally found his first gemstone, a small 32-gram sapphire. Today, he is a passionate gem enthusiast and an excellent gemstone hunter. And just like Tony, many people have found that gem hunting is a great way to pass the time and keep their minds engaged. So if you ever feel tired, stressed, anxious, or simply don't know what to do in your free time, know that gem hunting can be an excellent alternative therapy. This hobby has already improved the quality of life for many people around the world, not to mention those who have completely changed their lives after finding incredibly rare gemstones. But now, getting back to the main topic of this video, how can you actually find some of these gemstones? Well, the first and most obvious step is to go out and search where the gems are. If you're just starting out, any place will do, and soon you'll understand why. So don't worry about whether the location is beautiful or if it's the perfect place to find gemstones. The most important thing is to start the adventure, to get out there, search for gems, and collect the best stones you can find. This experience will put you in direct contact with nature and give you an incredible sense of discovery. I know this may seem obvious to some, but it needs to be said, because a lot of people want to find gemstones but don't actually want to leave the house. This first hands-on experience with rocks is essential for you to understand how they look in their raw, natural state, whether in a riverbed, a ravine, or on a rocky slope. What's interesting here is observing the rocks, feeling their textures, and noticing how the types of stones change as you go up or down a hill. Also, pay attention to the color of the soil, because changes in the ground often indicate variations in the types of stones you'll find there. All of this is part of the personal experience you need to develop with gemstones, and this hands-on knowledge makes a huge difference when it comes to finding valuable gems. You'll start to notice that within the same region, rocks can vary significantly in type, shape, and color, and this is a crucial factor. A place filled with ordinary rocks could actually be very close to a gemstone deposit. These changes in rock types, colors, and textures are important clues when tracking down gemstones. And even if you don't find a precious stone right away, the experience of being out in nature is already worth it for its health benefits and sense of adventure. The second thing you need to know is that you shouldn't search directly for gemstones, but rather for the signs that lead to them. That's because each precious stone has its own indicators, also known as satellite minerals. These satellite minerals are common rocks and minerals that indicate the presence of gemstones in a given area. In other words, for every type of gemstone found in nature, there are specific indicators that can help you locate them. This is why the first tip in this video is so important. Analyzing the soil is what will help you spot unique opportunities that would otherwise go unnoticed by someone inexperienced. Some of these indicators are universal and can be used to find different types of gemstones. The first, without a doubt, is mica and schist, which appear as thin, flaky layers that resemble plastic or shattered glass. They are very fragile, break apart easily, and look a lot like fish scales. This type of mineral is commonly found in mining areas and regions rich in gemstones. Another common stone that often appears in large quantities in areas where various gemstones are found is black tourmaline, especially when associated with white quartz. If you come across a location with a lot of white stones and black spots, it's likely black tourmaline. So a place like this can be an excellent starting point for gemstone hunting. However, pay close attention to this important detail. If you have access to a river and find stones that feel significantly heavier than usual, that's a good sign that the river may contain gemstones. A great example of heavy minerals found in rivers is ilmenite and chromite. They basically look like very dark pieces of iron, but what sets them apart is that they are much heavier than most of the other rocks you typically find in riverbeds. So any dark, heavy stone you find in a river could be a strong indication that it's a good place to start searching. Additionally, areas with pegmatites and granite formations are generally excellent places to look for gemstones. Pegmatites and granites are usually found in mountain chains or regions with small mountain formations. Pegmatites look similar to granite, but the difference is that the grains and minerals inside them are much larger, to the point where you can see the fragments with the naked eye. You may find a rock wall, a gallery, or even a small mountain with several fragmented pieces of pegmatite scattered around. If you find one in nature, you'll notice it's not just a single small rock. It could be an entire rock formation. And here's the most important detail. If you find 1, 2, or even 3 of these minerals in the same area, your chances of discovering a precious gemstone nearby increase significantly. The third important tip I have for you is this. Learn to observe gemstones carefully so you don't end up thinking every rock you find is valuable. Of course, you can take as much time as you need. You don't have to learn everything all at once. But if you want to figure out whether there are gemstones hidden in your region, you can start by learning about one stone at a time. First, get familiar with the most common precious stones, and over time, you'll gain the knowledge to understand where they are found, what their indicators are, and how to locate them. Now, if you want a shortcut, we have several videos on this channel teaching you how to find different types of gemstones from diamonds to jasper. You can even search the channel if you're looking for a specific stone, or you can take it a step further by accessing our Beginner's Guide to Gemology ebook, which contains a complete catalog with over 145 minerals. It's an affordable, fully digital resource, meaning you can access it anytime, anywhere. Now, let's move on to the next tip. Don't be fooled by just any stone you find. If you come across a gemstone too easily, there's a good chance it's not that valuable. It's really simple to understand. Think about it. The most valuable gemstones are highly prized because they are difficult to find. They are rare. So if you find a stone without much effort, that's already a sign that it might not be as rare, and therefore not as valuable. But don't worry, this isn't a strict rule. If you follow our channel, you already know that many ordinary people have found valuable diamonds worth millions of dollars in rivers. But just like some people get lucky, you also need to understand that a prospector can spend 15 to 30 days, or even longer, sifting through gravel every day just to find a single diamond. In that time, they might go through 2 or 3 tons of gravel before discovering their first gem. Of course, if diamonds were easy to find, they wouldn't be so expensive. But if a stone is difficult to find, that's not necessarily a bad thing. On the contrary, the harder it is to find, the more valuable it tends to be. So where's the best place to look for gemstones? Well, to figure that out, you need to do local research. There's no way to know what types of gemstones exist in a specific location without actually going there and investigating. Even an experienced geologist can't determine what stones are present in an area without conducting proper research. So you quite literally need to get your hands in the dirt. Once you've spent time in nature, felt the textures of rocks, learned how to analyze stones, and recognize the signs of precious gems, you're ready to take action. My recommendation is to collect as many stones as you can, whether from a river, a farm, a hillside, or the mountains. Then place all the collected stones in a bucket and wash them thoroughly with water. This is because it's much easier to identify stones when they're clean. And now, here comes the next tip. Separate the stones by color. That's because the color of each stone is determined by its chemical composition. In other words, this will help you identify the stones you find in nature. You can also separate them based on their texture. For example, try to spot patterns in stones that share similar characteristics and group them together. When you do this, you'll realize that the process of identifying rocks becomes much easier. Additionally, if you can mark the location where you found these stones, it will help determine their origin, since some types of stones can't be found in certain environments. For instance, if you find a green stone in a river, it's most likely jasper or green quartz. But it won't be tourmaline or emerald, because those two stones aren't naturally found in rivers. Another interesting tip is that dark-colored stones are generally harder to identify because there are many minerals with dark tones. On the other hand, the chances of a dark stone being truly valuable are much lower. Speaking of value, one of the first questions you'll probably ask yourself when you find your first gemstone is it worth anything? Well, the truth is, there is no fixed price chart for gemstones because each stone is unique in color, quality, and purity. There's no way to determine an exact price for every stone or how much it's worth. A lot of people ask me why I don't provide a table listing the price of each gemstone per gram, but the truth is, that kind of chart doesn't even exist. Gemstones aren't priced the same way as gold, copper, or silver. Their value varies significantly, which is why a gemologist needs specialized training to evaluate gemstones and determine their worth. Take a look at this stone right here, for example. It's an aquamarine. You can see that it's a beautiful piece, perfect for jewelry. Now take a look at this other stone. It's also an aquamarine. It's very nice as well, but its value is lower due to its quality. See the difference? Both are aquamarines, yet they have completely different values. And this applies to any other gemstone as well. But let's say you want to know exactly what kind of stone you have and how much it's worth. In that case, I have 3 options for you. The first is to look for a prospector or jeweler in your area. The second is to consult a gemologist near you, who can more accurately identify the type of stone you found. Once you know exactly what kind of gemstone you have, you can negotiate with a jeweler or a mineral dealer. However, if you don't have access to any of these options and want to avoid getting scammed by someone trying to buy your gems for less than they're actually worth, the best thing you can do is learn to identify your own stones. That's why we created the digital book, Gemology Journey for Beginners, a complete guide that teaches you everything you need to identify your gemstones without expensive equipment or expert consultations. In addition, you'll get an exclusive collector's chart with every known gemstone cataloged worldwide, a step-by-step guide on how to identify real diamonds using simple at-home tests. Normally, access to these materials would cost $25, but for the first 10 subscribers who click the first link in the description, we're offering more than 50% discount, meaning you can get the entire package for just $10. And of course, don't expect every single stone you find to be extremely valuable. But never think it's impossible to find one, because who knows when your lucky day might come. Statistically speaking, finding a gemstone is actually easier than winning the lottery. So make this a fun and relaxing hobby, something you enjoy while walking and exploring nature. And if luck is on your side, you could end up making millions by finding a rare diamond. Depending on where you live, you may even be able to search for diamonds for free. But if this isn't the right time for you to get the ebook, that's okay. You can still subscribe to the channel and watch the next video, which is already on the screen. In it, you'll take your first step into this fascinating world, learning practical methods to find other valuable gems, including diamonds, topaz, and tourmalines. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gem Hunter!